20 Treasures, Alison Mason from High Life Highland talks about a photograph showing travellers waiting for the ferry at Kyle in the mid-1920s.
So the image we put forward to be nominated, it comes from our Duncan Macpherson collection of images, which we hold at Skye and Loch Archive Centre, and that's one of 4 archive centres that we operate as High Life Highland Archive Service. And this collection is actually one of our most popular, both with in-person users to Skye and Loch Archive Centre, as well as being one of our most popular online resources. It's actually one of hundreds of images that were taken by Duncan Macpherson. Duncan Macpherson, he was originally from Aberdeenshire. He moved to Kyle in 1911. He went on to establish a chemist shop near the ferry terminal at Kyle, and he ran that right up until his death in 1966. He was a very enthusiastic amateur photographer as well. He rarely ventured out without his camera, and he was always ready to capture the daily comings and goings of the area. And his chemist shop carried all this equipment and supplies that you might need for amateur photographers at a time when photography was a popular hobby, especially for those visiting the Highlands and Islands on holiday and following in the footsteps of famous poets and artists and novelists looking to capture the landscape. His shop also acted as a local tourist office, and Macpherson sold maps and souvenirs. He had a famous pocket guide to Skye and Loch that was everything a traveller might need when they were coming on holiday to the area, and he also sold a range of postcards that he produced from the images that he captured. And he also wrote 3 separate books on the area, including his own photographs in those and recollections from his day-to-day encounters. And the reason really why we chose this image is because it shows 2 contrasting ways of life. It brings to mind themes that resonate today, including the growth of tourism that's really transformed the Highlands and brought both positive and negative impacts. This image and others in the collection, they provide a record of local people and places around Skye and Loch, and they capture a snapshot of daily life in the Highlands from the early to mid 20th century. I think Macpherson was trying really to capture a way of Highland rural life that he could see was rapidly disappearing, and he was wanting to use his photography to record the people and their everyday lives. So lots of the images that you see in the collection, he's capturing them in their natural poses on the street as they go about their everyday business. And this is really the case with this image that we chose of the travellers in the tourist cars waiting at the jetty in the Skye. So the particular image here, Macpherson's he's literally gone out of his shop, down the street, walked down to the pier, and he's just taking people there as they're standing waiting for the ferry. The travellers that he's taking the photograph of, they're obviously happy to be photographed. You can see they're looking at the camera, and they're undertaking a well-established route on their own travels throughout the Highlands. The travelling people moved from village to village. They were usually living in simple bow tents. They often worked as tinsmiths, so they were fixing people's everyday household utensils, also as horse dealers, hawkers, pearl fishers, that kind of thing. There was really a strong ethnic and cultural link to the Highlands. Often the travellers were Gaelic speakers, they were tradition bearers, they were excellent musicians and storytellers, carrying traditional names of the Highland clans such as Stewart, Cameron or MacDonald. And the image that we chose really shows them in juxtaposition with the row of the waiting travelling tourist cars on the same jetty in Kyle. And nowadays, of course, as well as walkers and tourists travelling by car, we have ourselves a steady stream of camper vans and caravans filled with holidaymakers that are travelling to all parts of the Highlands, and particularly the West and Skye, to enjoy and experience the beauty of the landscape. So that's really why we chose it. And as well, of course, as showcasing the landscape of the Western Highlands, other images in the Duncan Macpherson collection focus on a disappearing way of life. So there's villages with low-thatched cottages. There's cutting of peats. He takes photographs of things like ploughing of the fields particularly using cattle, gathering firewood. Market days at the Kyle Pier were a particular interest to him. Obviously, those were very busy days at the pier themselves, and his shop was just next door to it. Fishermen at work on the shore repairing their nets. So really, this collection covers everything. Social dynamics of crofting, early tourism and travellers are just some of the subjects. And in total, we've got 1,200 negatives, prints and glass plate images spanning over 50 years of Highland and Island life.
For more information, visit www.scottisharchives.org.uk/treasures.